When there's no more room in hell, the dead will listen to Bloodfest, the podcast.
Hello, and welcome to Bloodfest, the podcast. I'm your host, Nate. Y'all know me, know what I do for a living. I'm joined tonight, as always, by our tech guru, Joey. Joey, how are you doing?
Doing better than Casey. I'm not having to go up to Kansas City to fly out to Ohio.
No, he's still here. He logged in. Don't you remember?
Oh yeah.
The weird thing is, not Casey. Damn it, Joey is wearing a diaper. I don't know why. Maybe we'll find out later. Joining us, as always, is my good friend Casey. Hey, Casey, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great, Nate. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Thanks, Casey. It's good to see you. You're looking healthy. If you guys can't see, we just have a picture of Casey thrown up since he's not here, and we like to make fun of him. And Lydia is sitting in tonight for both Casey and Josh. Lydia, how are we doing?
Doing great tonight. How are you?
You know how I am.
Yeah.
All right. Our special guest tonight is Patrick from the Vintage Video Podcast. The Vintage Video Podcast is rewatching every major movie from the 1980s in chronological order, so you don't have to. If you're not listening, you really need to be listening to this podcast, because some of the movies in the 80s are just absolutely freaking bonkers, and this team just does a great job. So, how are you doing tonight, Patrick?
I'm doing great. Very flattered by your words. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I'm a big fan. I listen to every episode. Have been for a while now. So, yeah. I honestly, some of the stuff in the 80s, it's just, you forget how insane it was. Like your latest episode, Michael Crichton's Looker. What the hell? That's nuts. That's not a movie. That's a fever dream.
Yeah, he just got to a place where he could kind of make what he wanted, and that was a thing that he came up with all on his own, and it's bizarre. I can't believe the people he attached to it. I can't believe, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, he had Susan Day naked for like 2 minutes. So I mean,
right? She did not appreciate that.
Yeah. I can't imagine that she would, honestly. So Patrick's here tonight to talk about a movie not from the 1980s. We're going to talk about Ted Post's The Baby. The Baby, starring Anjanette Comer, Ruth Roman, Mariana Hill, Suzanne Zener, Todd Andrews, and Michael Pataki. It came out in 1973 and was directed by the amazing Ted Post. So before we jump in, I just want to say this is a movie that it's one of those ones people talk about and they hype up. It's one of those things you have to see it. It's so weird. It's so outra. It's absolute 70s grotty exploitation. And it's up there with Snuff. I don't know. Patrick, have you ever seen the film Snuff?
I have not, actually. It doesn't sound like something I'm going to seek out right away either.
So it's something that you have to see once. So they build it as being shot in South America, where life is cheap. And honestly, I think it's South America where film was cheap. Honestly, they bill it as, it's the most shocking film ever. It's a snuff film. And actually, it's like a cheapy, let's take advantage of the fact that the Manson family was just in the news, and we'll show like a gang stalking a pretty young pregnant actress and kill her and stuff. And then, because it didn't make money, they tacked on a snuff film ending that's the last 8 minutes of the film, and that's what it's famous for. So you sat through 70 minutes of, I guess the Manson family was in the news that month, to a snuff film in the last 8 minutes. So I kind of think this is like that, in that you hear whispers about it, people tell you what it is, and then when you get there, it's nothing like you expect. It is a completely different kind of film. So is this one that you've been a fan of for a long time?
It's something that I've been alerted to in recent years, and I was kind of shocked at the time, and I don't know if it officially got resubmitted, but at the time it was literally a G-rated movie somehow. It's still listed as PG on IMDb.
That's rated G. Okay.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. And it makes such, that the third act really just outdoes itself.
You don't.
It's really crazy.
You don't see the twist coming. I mean, I don't think there's any way you could see the twist.
No, not at all.
So, Lydia, you a big fan of this movie?
Okay. I had a really hard time. I could not finish this movie. And
Why?
yeah, no, I just couldn't do it. The guy playing the baby, nah, it just got on my nerves.
Oh, he's
real
amazing.
bad.
Clearly one of the most
Yeah.
naturalistic actors who's ever trod the boards.
Sure. Okay.
So wait, so you gave up. How far did you get?
Not real far.
See, the whole movie comes
I tried.
together
I
at the
really did.
Oh, you
I
suck.
really tried.
You
I
s-
know.
Yeah, you suck. I don't know how you
I
could do
know.
that. So, for our audience, hi guys, how are you? All five of you. For our audience, so the idea of the movie is a young social worker is assigned to a family, and actually, she admits that she kind of begged for the case because it's so unusual. Our the family is made up of the mother, sisters, and the infant son. But the infant son is like 22 years old. He crawls, he wears a diaper, he gets bottle fed, he babbles in baby talk, he doesn't do anything that you would expect from an adult or even a small child. And the family says that he has a birth defect. He just never developed past the point of early toddlerhood and requires constant care. And that's why he has a social worker. But the social worker begins to suspect that there's more to it, that perhaps he didn't fail to develop but wasn't allowed to develop. And we slowly, over the course of the film, we come to learn that that's true. Basically, he gets punished if he tries to stand up or say a word or do something for himself. And he's just living in a horrible existence in a kind of a stunted world, put there by his mother and his sisters. The social worker goes to great lengths in order to rescue him, and that's kind of where the twist comes in, because it's been hinted at earlier that something happened with her husband, that he was in a traffic accident, and I don't know, going in, I'm like, oh, she's a widow, he died, and that'll play into it in some way. And then we find out that he didn't die. He was left with severe brain damage, leaving him like a baby, and she was kidnapping the baby so her husband could have a playmate who was on the same level as him. And that's how that insane movie goes. So here's my first question. Does anybody have any idea why? Why did this happen? I mean, you've got Ted Post out there who was a respected filmmaker. I mean, he wasn't making the biggest blockbusters of the day, but he was a respected filmmaker. He was known as someone who could come in under budget, on time, and make money with a movie. What's he doing with this crazy thing?
I think he just got pestered for long enough. I think the Abe Prosky, who sort of was a friend of his and kept talking him into this project, and he was like, no, Abe Polsky, that he just kept saying, no, it's too dark, it's too weird, like this isn't the audience that I normally cater to, and he just kept saying, we got to do it, it's great, we can get it done real quick, it's not going to cost anything, no one will be upset if it doesn't make its money back. It didn't make its money back. Yeah. And eventually he just gave in. Maybe he had an opening in his schedule, and he was like, it's something to do for the next 3 months, and then this happened.
So the film plays it kind of plays more as melodrama than you would expect for the kind of nasty exploitation that it is, which I think is an interesting choice. The cast is actually really good. So Ruth Roman is out there doing her best Joan Crawford vibes in this thing as the mother. And
yeah, I totally got that whenever I was watching. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to give her a drink and take away all of the wire hangers, and just let her kind of calm down a little bit. You've got Anjanette Comer as basically our main character. She's our social worker there to rescue baby. The supporting cast is all good as well. So I'm guessing that you did some reading up on the background of the movie, Patrick?
A little bit. I mean, there's honestly not a lot of information out there about it. But
yeah. So it almost feels like this was this was a serious film. They thought they were making a real movie. It wasn't.
I think they did.
Yeah. Nobody involved in this seems to me like they were saying, "Ooh, let's get something out to the drive-in real fast. It'll be on a double bill with that cannibal movie." You know, it's like, no, we're making a movie, and the New York Times will review us. And
well, I mean, the other stuff that we've seen on our show from Mariana Hill has been kind of B-list, kind of Monster of the Week type stuff with Schizoid and Blood Beach, which are both like kind of silly drive-in movies. So this feels up her alley in terms of like the pitch, but I think the execution is much more serious.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Ted Post brings to the table, is he takes it very seriously. It reminds me a lot of, have you seen Scalpel?
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
Okay. Well, it's just a very interesting premise, and then it gets treated so seriously that it makes it like a whole different movie.
Yeah.
When you take something that could be silly and you treat it very maturely and seriously, then it becomes a different thing.
So I can't help picturing what this movie would be if someone like John Waters had directed it instead. You wouldn't have to change a line of dialogue, but everything about it would be different. It would be a completely different experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not super far off in plot from Polyester in terms of like what a lot of the characters are doing.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, no, now I'm picturing we moved the whole thing to the trailer park from Pink Flamingos. Unfortunately, I think we've lost both Divine and Mink Stole, so we've got to recast. But I don't know. So, honestly, I actually liked this movie quite a lot, and I was kind of surprised by how much I liked it. And I don't think I would have if it had gone the direction that my brain thought it would go. I think that twist ending makes the movie. It kind of pays for everything before, which is unusual for me because normally I get annoyed by twist endings. So
yeah, and honestly, like rewatching it, I feel like I'm a little annoyed at how much they telegraph it.
Yeah,
because I think it might have been even more fun if they had played this as just a very serious caseworker in this like child protection agency, and then the very late in the story do you realize that she's got her own weirdnesses.
Yeah.
But they're hinted at early, and I feel like it's a little bit to the disservice of the film that we already know that she's weird too, but and we're kind of judging by the end of the film which of these families is weirder, who deserves to take care of this kid. And ultimately I think he ended up with the right family. It's just terrible.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to beat him if he does something wrong. Yeah, you get the feeling that she's just going to let him and convince him to go back to being a baby. So, but
then who knows? Maybe in the sequel, it's like he's starting to, because for the first time in his life, he's given the chance to mature into a fully able adult, and she doesn't want him to outpace her husband, and so she's having to punish him in the same way.
Okay, so all right, we've got the pitch for the sequel.
Right.
Somebody call Hollywood, would you?
And Lydia, an even crazier person comes to take the baby away.
Yeah. The Hill people. The Hill people come. They need him for a ritual, and yeah. So Lydia, who do you know in Hollywood? Call me somebody.
Oh gosh, I don't know anybody in Hollywood. I wish I did.
I'll call Lloyd Kaufman. I actually have.
There you go. You do know Lloyd Kaufman now.
Yeah. I've just actually had an email from him 2 days ago. So
really,
yeah, Uncle Lloyd. Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Uncle Lloyd likes me. So
yeah.
Okay, so I don't think we'll be likely to get The Baby 2 Electric Boogaloo off the ground, but it's worth a shot. So what do you think is the best scene in your opinion, Patrick?
Oh my gosh, there's so many to choose from that are just completely off the wall crazy. But I think the hardest turning point is when the sisters break into the house to get their brother back, and at this point we've already decided like neither one of these people is the right family for this person to end up with, but they're scheming back and forth to try and take this kid back and forth, and how far are they going to take it? We're wondering how. We've already seen one of them handcuffed in a basement and being held captive, and presumably like on the path to being murdered to protect their kid from this woman. And then suddenly these sisters are getting their throats slit and stabbed in the back, and I'm like, what is happening? And the mother-in-law, the mother of the other disabled man, is participating in it. She's not shocked by it or disgusted by what's happened. She's like, no, I understand what we're doing. We're getting playmates. We're trying to set up a play date with this other guy.
Yeah, she's 100% in on this plan.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the hardest turn that the movie has, and I feel like that was us standing up off the couch and applauding the film at that point.
oh, Lydia, of the part you saw,
Okay.
what was the standout scene for you?
Gosh. I don't know. I had like I said, I had a really hard time with this. Had a hard time paying attention to it.
What?
Yeah, I really did.
It does start slow.
It was the guy. It was the guy and his acting and the learned helplessness kind of, vibe that I got. And
oh God, did he remind you of one of the ex-husbands?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
'cause there's so many.
Okay, that makes sense then. That makes sense. Yeah, probably Chuck. Or it could have been Carl or Spike.
One, the seventh one.
Yeah.
And they're dubbing him with like actual stock baby noises, which makes it that much
better. I know.
Yeah.
See,
they like pitch it down, so it sounds like a guy, but it's still weird.
Yeah,
so
very weird.
I personally, the reveal right up at the beginning when you hear about the baby and then you see the baby and it's a grown man. So I knew it was coming. I mean, I think everybody knows it was coming, but I just try to imagine you didn't know this was the movie on the bottom of the double bill at the drive-in that night. You didn't even know because you were going to see the cannibal movie or whatever. And you get to that point not knowing it's coming. That had to be a mind blower. I mean, what the hell am I watching?
I think people, because of the title, go into it expecting a Rosemary's Baby type story.
Yeah.
They're not expecting this.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Like in the early 70s, what were these people thinking in the theater when they watched this? Yeah.
They're thinking, why the hell did we pay $2 for this or whatever a ticket cost then? I don't know.
I don't know either.
But okay, so Joey, one important thing. The picture of Casey up there creeps me out.
Well, that Casey just has that effect.
Well, that's true. That's true. Jeez. Hey, so I was thinking about other movies that I would like pair this with if I was going to make it part of a double bill to show somebody. And I honestly think the best possible second feature to go with this is It's Alive.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Lydia, you a fan of It's Alive?
I don't think I've seen it yet.
Oh, it's a Larry Cohen movie. Oh, they made a whole trilogy of them. The third one's got Michael Moriarty, who is my favorite Larry Cohen actor. We could be talking about a Larry Cohen movie right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you guys covered any Larry Cohen on the show?
I think we did cover a Larry Cohen. Oh, you know what? We did Full Moon High, which is one of his lesser known titles.
Yeah, okay. So I was trying to think.
There's so many werewolf movies in 1981. It's very bizarre.
I was trying to think of what. So in the 80s, so the Stuff would be in the 80s. Q would be in the 80s, and I think
Q's coming up next season.
Okay, outstanding. I love that movie. Another great Michael Moriarty.
Yeah.
Have you seen it already?
Q, I have not, but I'm excited for it.
Okay.
I've seen the trailer a lot of times.
I have it in my queue to watch.
Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. It's good fun. You gotta watch it. Honestly, that movie and the Stuff were the reasons I watched Law and Order when it first started, because I was a big Michael Moriarty fan because of those.
Yeah.
So, and then they fired him, and he blamed Bill Clinton for some reason. I don't know.
That makes sense.
I don't know. So, Lydia, if you were going to turn this into a double feature, what would you pair it with?
I don't know if I could pick a movie, but it reminds me of that series. I think it was a TLC series called My Strange Addiction, about the big man baby. I don't know. They have grown men that like to dress like.
Oh, okay, like people who do okay, so the sex thing, the kink, the diaper play and stuff, yeah. The kink that dare not say its name,
right?
Because but
yeah.
See, that's even worse. What if this movie were that? What if it was just a grown man shitting in a pair of pants, little pants? I mean,
Story of my life.
I don't know.
I mean, he is doing that in this movie.
Yeah.
That's true. Did you say
Totally.
story of my life?
I may or may not have.
He totally
Wait,
did.
what? A little slow there, Nate.
So, Patrick, if you were going to try to put this part of a double bill, sorry, Joey's over here shitting his pants. So,
I'm sorry for you. I'm not having to deal with that.
if you were going to make this part of a double feature, what do you think would go well?
Well, if I'm going to pair it with something we've done on the show, I would put it with Tim, which is technically a 1979 release, but it got its American release in 1981. Mm-hmm. And it's about Mel Gibson plays a mentally handicapped gentleman who falls in love with a woman who he works as a gardener for, played by Piper Laurie. Oh. And it's about her family getting really mad because she's trying to take him away from them. Because they think they should be taking care of it. It's a much more serious, like, it got a remake on Lifetime recently.
Okay.
But it's a similar storyline, but coming at it from a different angle.
Yeah. From a
not a horror film.
Yeah, it sounds like a less weird angle, honestly.
No, it's still really weird. But I recommend checking it out.
All right. We'll put that on the list. We'll put it on the list. So, because I'm really, really tired this week, forgot to go and like look up any serious trivia or anything about this movie. So I really only know what happens in the movie.
Yeah, there's not a lot. I mean, I've tried looking into it. I mean, we haven't covered this one as an episode because it's outside of our realm, but there's really not much to it because I think everybody very quickly wanted to forget about this movie as soon as they were finished making it.
Yeah, I try to look some stuff up too because I like to know some trivia before I watch a movie. Sometimes if I don't know what to expect, and I couldn't find anything either.
Yeah.
Well, that's just.
Although I did see that the guy who plays the boss of the caseworker had passed away before the film came out.
Okay.
Like 7 months before the film came out, so it must have been immediately after they shot the stuff.
So this guy's last movie or whatever.
Yeah, he was only 57.
Oh, I don't like hearing that. As I get closer to that kind of age, nobody's allowed to die at 57.
No.
Well, at least you know how to walk already. You got one up on another cast member.
You're not shitting your pants, so.
Well, not right now.
No.
Speak for yourself.
Keeps that off air.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have to like put the age limit gate on YouTube if you do that, and it's just it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. All right. So I know we didn't dive like super deep into this, but honestly, it's a movie I like a lot, but I don't feel like it's a movie you can dive super deep into because I can't think of a major I don't think there's a major subtext to this. I don't
think so either. It's just something I like putting people through.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we're talking about a movie and I can say, oh, well, they're talking about redlining in Chicago during the 1950s, but they're not saying it. And I got nothing. I have absolutely nothing. Don't.
I mean, it could be a statement on like the situation with Child Protective Services and how hard it is to give proper care to these children.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like this social worker is a terrible person too.
No, this isn't. It's not like she was It's not like she could do a better job if simply had more resources. Because I think more resources would just let her more quickly take him captive.
Right.
So.
She's already showing up 3 days a week to this house, which seems like overkill.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's probably it for the baby. But anybody have anything they think is cool from this week that they want to bring up? Lydia, what'd you watch?
I watched the new Dead Ringers series.
Yeah, tell me nothing.
Wise.
I'm probably binging the whole thing tomorrow. So.
Oh, awesome! You're not gonna be disappointed. It was really good.
Yeah,
she did a really good job. I don't know if you can be nominated twice. I mean, technically she's playing two different characters, but she nails it. I'm a big fan of the original movie.
Yeah,
and
it's my third favorite Cronenberg, so.
Oh, that's Dead Ringers is my favorite.
Yeah. But no, but you're wrong because Videodrome is Cronenberg's greatest film. So I'm sorry, but the gods have spoken. It's Videodrome.
Okay.
It's Videodrome, then Crash, then Dead Ringers, then Shivers.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't make the rules.
But
Well,
no,
I was just
anything about
thinking
it, but
she probably could get a dual nomination, but they would just put it into one piece, like when they
Yeah.
nominated Charlie and Donald Kaufman for Best Screenwriter,
Yeah.
which he won, I think.
Yeah, I think
for
so.
adaptation.
Yeah, I think so, which is awesome, really.
Yeah.
It's right up there with Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan. There was a screenwriting nomination for the Oscars, and the credited screenwriter was a dog. So,
Right.
yeah, I just love that. Dog nominated for an Oscar for writing. Yeah. So, Patrick, did you watch or do anything awesome this week?
We've just been trying to catch up on stuff for our show lately. Most recently, that means the movie Roar, which I'm sure you've heard of.
I'm familiar with. It's on a list, so someday it will be seen.
So, yeah, we did that one, and it's a difficult watch. I'll leave it
bet.
at that. It's a Tippi Hedren and Melanie Griffith and Noel Marshall and a house full of 150 lions.
Yeah. I absolutely. She
She
fight
had
to
it,
get that
had-
made?
They both fought
Yeah.
to get it made,
Yeah.
and they paid $17 million of their own money by selling houses and land. And
Wow.
they got about $2 million back,
Yeah.
which is more than they deserved. I think it's a terrible movie.
Well, see if it's a terrible movie. It's right up my alley.
Yeah, well, check out Roar, but I didn't tell you that because I will not recommend that movie to anyone. It's a nightmare. I have like
Tippi
terrible
Hedren
anxiety
actually
already.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no.
But didn't Tippi Hedren actually have a pet lion that lived in her home?
Yes, these are the lions that they had in their house, and it's literally
Wow.
over 100 big cats that they had in their home.
Wow, that's crazy.
And they all got attacked by them. Everybody got attacked by them. They get attacked in the movie. They use the takes in the movie. It's a nightmare.
That's insane.
Crazy.
That's insane. And she went from, you would think, after what all those birds did to her, she'd be a little more chill around wild animals, but
Yeah.
Tippy.
She loves lions. She runs a preserve up in a little bit north of LA, and you know, she spends a lot of money protecting. She's still around, obviously. She's
Right.
taking care of lions. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's, lions are pretty awesome. I don't want them in my house because I
right,
prefer
and
not
they
to
don't
be
belong
eaten.
in a house.
Yeah, I prefer not to be
for my
eaten.
safety
But
and theirs.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's pictures of like Melanie jumping into the pool, and one of the cats is like swiping her leg while she's jumping in, and then
She gets scalped in the movie on set. It rips her hair out of her head.
Yeah, I've read about
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy. That's, you know what, though? When something goes wrong like that, you can always at least say they died doing what they loved.
Right.
Dying.
Getting
Being eaten by a
lions.
cat. Yeah. And I say this as the type of idiot who I was actually just making a list of all the types of animals that have bitten me. And of course, I have cats and dogs, horse that used to bite me on the ass when I wouldn't fill the oat bucket fast enough. I got all that stuff. But I got fox, raccoon. I've been bitten by possums, but it doesn't count because they don't try very hard. And I've been bitten by both wild and domestic turkeys. So I mean, I'm a guy who's been bitten by stuff because I'm an idiot around animals. And even I'm like, no, fuck that. You get those lions back into that cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And Jan de Bont was the DP, and he got attacked, and he went into
I was
surgery.
just reading
wow.
Yeah.
120 stitches to put his scalp back on.
120 stitches? Wow.
120 stitches.
Wow.
And he was on set the day they released him from the hospital. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
DeBont.
Well, that's what. Well, you know what? He went on to make Speed, so I'm gonna say that's the type of guy who just gets it done.
Yeah, I think so.
Melanie Griffith was mauled by a lion during filming and required plastic surgery.
Yeah, Melanie Griffith.
Yeah, facial reconstructive surgery.
Yeah. Have you never heard of this, Joey?
No, I've
No,
never
this
heard
thing
of
is
this movie.
famous. Yeah.
It didn't even have a home video release until I think 2015.
Yeah.
But there's a Blu-ray now from Olive Films has one, and I think Draft House Films did.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
Draft House,
absolutely
okay.
weren't kidding. Literally everybody
Yeah.
on the set was attacked.
Yeah.
mauled.
Right.
Yeah. How anybody survived is a mystery to me.
Deputy sheriffs had to shoot 3 lions during the flooding of Marshall Ranch.
Including the starring lion, like the lion that's the main character of the whole film. And in the trailer, it literally says, Robbie survived flawlessly. He's totally okay. Everything's fine. It's like, no, he got washed out of their ranch in a flood and shot by police. He died. He died before they finished making it.
That's terrible.
It's awful.
Yeah, that's upsetting. That's upsetting. Yeah. All right, so that's a downer note. Let me tell you about these dead lions and all the people that were mauled. You ever heard of Ghost in the Darkness? See, now that's a feel-good story.
Yeah, absolutely. We went and saw them, the Savo lions at the Field Museum.
Oh, yeah. I knew that. Yeah, I knew they were there. I've never gotten to go, but yeah.
It's a cool movie, though.
Yeah, it is. It's so, because I'm like this, it took me a while to decide to actually see it. It had been out on home video for a few years, because every time I saw that title, I'm like, The Ghost in the Dark. That's a terrible title. That's up there with Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, or that Chuck Norris film, Hero and the Terror. Those are terrible titles. Do not do titles like
anything
that.
with "and" in it. Just
cross
it off and start over.
Yeah. But then once I saw it, it's actually it's a very exciting film. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. So my big excitement this week. And bear with me, because this is exciting. I did very little other than my job. I watched like 2 movies. I watched a Western today called Never Grow Old, maybe? Something like that, with John Cusack. Yeah. And I watched Prowler a couple of days ago. And I was
all right.
Really excited to sit down and watch it, because it's been on my to-watch list for quite a while. And I was like 15 minutes in, and I went, I wonder why it's on my to-watch list, since I've seen this movie.
Oh, no.
I have 2 copies of it, it turns out, in fact. So I bought it twice and watched it both times, so that was exciting.
It's probably worth a rewatch, though.
No, it really is. Have you seen it, Lydia?
No, I haven't seen that one.
So it's a slasher. Not to spoil anything, but it's a guy in military gear, right?
Right.
Running around killing people. But my favorite thing about this military killer is he does a lot of his killing with a pitchfork, which makes perfect sense. You know, that's normal army gear.
I'm just thinking, a military guy, pitchfork.
Yeah, they go together. It's good. It's got
butter, jelly.
I do feel like that film owes a lot to the Friday the 13th films. Not just because the pitchfork is such a central weapon in the second Friday the 13th, but in the script for the first Friday the 13th, the killer is called the Prowler on every page.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
definitely going to check that one out.
Oh, it's worth. There's a Blu-ray from Blue Underground, I think. I think mine's Blue Underground. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely check that out. What I'm really excited for is I have 2 different versions of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 4K that I just got. I got the what was that, Dark Sky or whatever? I can't remember the company that put that one out. And then the Second Sight one from the UK. And I want to watch them both back to back to compare. So
nice.
Trying to make time for that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, anybody have anything else that we want to chat about before we pack it in?
Don't think so.
Oh, good. All right. Well, I want to thank Patrick from the Vintage Video Podcast. Once again, if you haven't listened to Vintage Video, you absolutely should. We'll put links in the show notes to make it easier for you to find it. We're putting their logo up on the screen right now. That's all. By the way, that's an awesome logo. I love your logo.
My wife did that. I'm really happy with it.
It's very good. I want to thank Lydia for being here. I want to thank Joey for being here. I want to thank the ghost of Casey for being there staring at me with that weird smile and creeping me out. Yeah. So I've been Nate. This has been Bloodfest. And before we go, we're going to throw a little something out there for you. So Stephen King's The Boogeyman has been made into a movie, finally, directed by Rob Savage, and it's coming out on June 2nd of this year. And we're just going to tack the trailer on here for anybody who hasn't seen it and see if that gets us a strike on YouTube.
When there are scary things we don't understand, our minds try to fill in the blanks. Sometimes the best thing to do is to face it. So this light is going to be completely solid like it is right now. Then gradually, it's going to start flashing until it's totally dark. So you can see that there's nothing to be afraid of. Okay? See? That's not so scary, is it? Just you, your sister, and me.
doing okay. It's not real. It's okay. It's okay. It's all just in your head.
Katie, there's something in my room. You believe me, don't you?
There's no such thing as monsters. You need to grow up. I'm serious, Sawyer. I need to be alone.
You're both having these manifestations. What is this supposed to be? It's the thing that comes for your kids when you're not paying attention.
Dad, you have to listen to me.
Okay. I'm listening. Sweetheart, let me handle it.